Hi, my name's Victor, and today I'll be talking about how the love of something can actually be the root of all success. Now, when I was younger, I loved comfort. Staying in, doing nothing, chilling at home was my idea of the perfect weekend. That's why it was to my surprise that when my dad introduced his former passion to me, rugby, I absolutely hated it. My first training was an hour and a half on a cold Sunday winter morning, and after tackling and running fitness the entire time, I didn't want to do it. For the one reason, it was outside of my comfort zone. But if you know my parents, they pushed and persevered, and luckily, rugby is my passion as I know it today. In September 2021, that was quite a big shock to me, as after living 10 years in London, my entire childhood, we packed up our things and moved to Frankfurt. Now, the first week here was mostly spent in extreme discomfort at the explosion of new things. New school, new friends, new house, even I didn't know what to do. But one thing I found out is the moment I joined the rugby club, I felt this sense of home, this sense of family with these strangers I've never met before. It felt so good to be surrounded with people that had the same passion and motivation as me, which really helped me through my first couple of weeks where I didn't really know anyone or anything. Now, the next thing that I also noticed about this club was that everyone was so much better than me. This was the first time I really learned what discipline was, because I for sure knew I wasn't going to be the worst player, the least fit, the slowest. And we sort of felt this connection around the team if someone was slacking off, someone wasn't as good, that first of all, they'd be disappointing themselves, but really dragging the team down with them. So I knew I had to get better. I'll be honest, I was never the kid to go do extra work, extra homework, extra fitness. But these habits were tough to break. But through these moments of toughness, what really helped me was just my love for the sport. I felt like when I was working and running this extra fitness, that it was good to me, and I was just doing something I loved. Now, I mentioned discipline, but what does this really mean? To me, it means much more than a word. For me, discipline means hard work. It means chasing a dream like your life depends on it, and therefore pushing past any boundaries that your mind sets in itself. Secondly, discipline for me means daily effort. It means going out in the hot, the cold, the sun, the rain, even the snow with one idea in your head, which is to become better than yesterday. Now, I'll be honest, success isn't something that takes a month, a year even. So building this habit of working every day is so important when chasing a goal. Now, lastly, but most importantly for me, discipline is resilience. I can base the rest of my talk and the rest of the afternoon on how I failed. Failed in my sport, my family, in school, I've had a really bad game. But being resilient means not only carrying on from this failure, but actually learning from them and turning what was a negative into a positive, helping your journey. Now, it'll be frequent that during my exam phases and preparations, that I would be sitting there at my desk late at night, drowning in studying after coming home from a long, tiring physical training of afternoon, after an even longer day of school. I would wonder to myself, how was I going to keep my grades up? How was I going to keep a social life up if I had no time? As without a doubt, I considered quitting many, many times, just for the sake of comfort, the sake of relaxation. I can come home one weekend and not travel to Berlin, not travel to Hanover, but just do nothing. But through these moments of hard work, these moments of hardship, when all this hard work pays off, it's a joy I can't explain to everyone in the room right now. So I knew I could use this as my motivation. If I worked so hard the entire time and my outcome would always be so much better, it felt like it was worth it. Well, that's how it should have been all the time. A glimmering opportunity had arisen where the national team coach came to our club and proposed a trial to the best players to join the German rugby squad. To be clear, becoming a professional rugby player in Germany is another obstacle in itself. No one really knows what it is and therefore has a lot less funding as, for example, football. So I felt like I had to take every single small opportunity I had to 100% if I really wanted to become this pro rugby player. Now, seeing as we'd won the national championship the year before that, and I felt like I'd been putting so much effort in, so much hard work in this entire time, I felt like I earned this spot on this team. So the following week, the coach would announce who had made the squad, and I would listen to how my teammates got called up, my family, who I've been through everything with on the pitch, and how they get put in the team. and I was left behind. The way that my heart dropped to my shoes was like a bullet straight through the chest. This pain of failure, hurt more than any physical pain I've ever felt in my life. Knowing I put myself through so many obstacles, so many setbacks the entire time, just to fail the most important part. This was supposed to be my story ending. Well, my dream of being a pro since a little kid felt like it was going out of my reach. Now I needed to take a step back and reflect because I couldn't carry on this state of failure. And I realized that I'd been putting so much unbelievable pressure on myself to join this team, of have the glory of being in the German team, that I forgot why I was training so hard in the first place. And it's simple, because I loved the game. Not because I wanted the glory of being there or the glory of winning. No, I loved what I was doing, and I was doing it every day because it was my passion. Now, from this reflection, I learned a very important lesson, which was to self-forgive. I know I'm not perfect, and to be honest, no one here ever will be. And maybe I just wasn't good enough. And I have to accept that. But I was also 15 at the time, one of the youngest kids there. And my journey doesn't stop there. I know I'm going to get more opportunities, and if I carry on training so hard like I always do, I can grasp them to 100%. Now, lastly, I just had to carry on. I'm no one without this sport. It's who I am. It's my personality, my passion. And I felt like I came back stronger and more refreshed than I ever have been before. That's why you always see the little boy in me grinning from eye to eye when I'm on the rugby pitch. Now, you may be asking yourself right now, what's the point in all this? Where's the success in everything if I failed the most important part? Well, for me, my success actually comes from not being the biggest, not being the fastest, not being the best at times, but working the hardest. I know I worked harder than everyone else, and that I can be proud of. Secondly, my success comes from having such an intense passion of something that I created the most unforgettable memories. I'm so happy to talk about the most heartbreaking losses, really on my knees crying on the pitch after a game, but also to the most thrilling wins, literally the best days of my life from this sport. Now, in one word, I would describe my rugby journey as a roller coaster, but I've loved every single second of it, and that's why I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Now, lastly, I would like to present a quote from Pelé, a Brazilian footballer, who talks about success is no accident. But success is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, but most of all, the love of something you do. Now, I really relate to this quote, and I hope this is what you actually take from my talk today, is that if you want the win, you want the success, you want this idea of winning, you shouldn't solely focus on that. First of all, you need to find something you love. Something that makes you dream at night, something that keeps you up, something that you can go to work for, that improves you every single day. And trust me, when you have this passion of something, when you have this love, then the success will come guaranteed. Thanks for listening.